Your check engine light just came on. Your first instinct is to book a shop appointment, hand over your keys, and wait for the estimate. But what if the fix takes 5 minutes, costs nothing, and requires no tools at all? Modern cars run on computers, and computers do what computers do. They glitch, they store bad data, they hold on to errors that were already fixed. A lot of what shops charge diagnostic time for is literally just resetting a system that got confused. Today I'm walking through 5 resets that work on almost every vehicle on the road, in the order you should try them, starting with the one that solves the most common problems and ending with a method that lets you target a single component without touching anything else. One of these alone has the potential to save you $500 in a shop visit you didn't need. Let's get into it. Why car resets actually work. Before we get into the methods, it's worth understanding why resetting anything on a car actually fixes problems. Because it's not magic and it's not a band-aid. Your car has an engine control unit, the ECU, that monitors hundreds of inputs from sensors throughout the vehicle, learns your driving patterns, adapts fuel and ignition timing in real time, and stores fault codes when something falls outside expected parameters. The problem is that the ECU also stores data from conditions that no longer exist. A sensor reading that was off last week because of a cold start. A throttle position that was recalibrated after cleaning. A voltage spike from jumping a battery. The ECU is still working from that old data even though the condition that caused it is gone. Resetting clears that stale data and forces the ECU to start fresh with current real-world conditions. On a car that's running fine mechanically, that reset is often all that's needed to get it running smoothly again. Method 1. Battery Disconnect Reset. This is the broadest and most powerful reset on the list. When you cut power to the ECU completely, every module in the car loses its stored adaptive data and has to relearn from scratch. It's the automotive equivalent of a hard reboot. This method is most useful for clearing a check engine light after you've already fixed the underlying issue, fixing an erratic idle or unresponsive throttle after a repair or cleaning, resolving random electronic gremlins that started after a dead battery or jump start, and restoring normal behavior after any component replacement that touches the ECU's learned parameters. How to do it *. Turn the ignition off and remove the key. Open the hood and disconnect the negative battery cable first. Always negative first to prevent sparks. Then disconnect the positive. Let both cables sit clear of the battery terminals for 15 to 20 minutes. This isn't just about cutting power. It takes time for the capacitors in the ECU to fully discharge and for all stored volatile memory to clear. After waiting, reconnect in reverse order. Positive first, then negative. Tighten both terminals securely. A loose ground is a common cause of mysterious electrical problems on its own. One important heads-up *, disconnecting the battery clears more than just the ECU. Your radio presets, clock settings, and on some vehicles the radio security code will all reset. Before you do this on an older vehicle, check your owner's manual to confirm whether your radio requires a code to unlock after losing power. Walking out to a radio that displays "locked" and won't play is a frustrating surprise that's easily avoided with a 2-minute check first. Method 2. Throttle Body Relearn Procedure. If you've recently cleaned your throttle body, replaced it, or done a battery disconnect, and now your idle is rough, bouncing, or sitting higher or lower than normal, this is the fix. It's not a glitch. It's a calibration the ECU needs to do, and it won't do it automatically fast enough without prompting. Here's what's happening. The ECU learns exactly where the throttle plate sits at idle, the precise resting position that maintains the right airflow for a stable idle speed. After any disruption to that baseline, the ECU's stored position data no longer matches reality. It overcorrects, the idle hunts, and it can take days of normal driving to sort itself out on its own. The manual relearn shortcut. Turn the key to the on position without starting the engine. Let it sit for 10 seconds. You're giving the ECU time to power up and begin scanning sensors. Slowly press the accelerator pedal all the way to the floor and hold it there for 4 seconds. Then release it just as slowly as you pressed it. This slow release is what allows the throttle position sensor to register the full range of travel and set the endpoints correctly. Repeat the full press and slow release cycle 2 more times. Turn the key off and let the car sit for another 10 seconds. Then start the engine and let it idle completely undisturbed. No AC, no radio, no touching the gas, for 3 to 4 minutes. The ECU is actively relearning during this time. After that, take it for a short test drive. Normal throttle response and a settled idle confirm the relearn worked. Method 3. OBD2 Scanner Reset. This is the most surgical reset on the list, and if you don't own an OBD2 scanner yet, a basic one costs $25 to $40 and pays for itself the first time. It saves you a diagnostic fee. Unlike a battery disconnect, which clears everything indiscriminately, an OBD2 scanner lets you read exactly what fault code the ECU stored, understand what triggered it, and clear it precisely, without resetting your radio, your clock, or any of the ECU's other learned adaptations. It's targeted rather than blunt. How to use it? Locate the OBD2 port under the dashboard on the driver's side. On most vehicles, it's within reach of the steering column, often without needing to look for it. Plug the scanner in with the ignition off. Turn the key to the on position without starting the engine. This powers up the ECU and opens communication with the scanner. Read the stored trouble codes first. Write them down or take a photo of the scanner screen before clearing anything. The code tells you what the ECU detected, and you want that information for reference even after you clear it. If the issue that triggered the code has been resolved, select Clear Codes or Erase DTCs from the scanner menu. After clearing, start the engine and let it idle for a few minutes. If the check engine light stays off and the car drives normally, the reset worked and the underlying condition is resolved. If the light comes back within a few miles, the problem is still present and needs actual repair, but now you know exactly what the code is, which puts you in a much stronger position when you do take it to a shop. Method 4. In-menu system reset. This one is specific to infotainment and software-related issues on modern vehicles, and it's the right tool for a specific category of problems that have nothing to do with the engine or drivetrain. If your touchscreen is freezing or responding slowly, your navigation map is stuck or won't update, Bluetooth pairing has stopped working reliably, or your backup camera has started displaying incorrectly, these are software issues in the infotainment computer, not mechanical faults. A full battery disconnect would clear them, but it also clears a lot of other things you'd prefer to keep. Most vehicles from the last 8 to 10 years have a built-in reset option somewhere in the Settings menu. On many systems it's found under Settings, then System or General, then a Restore Default or Factory Reset option. On some vehicles it's in a dedicated Vehicle Settings or Driver Preferences menu. The exact path varies by manufacturer and model. A quick search for your specific year and model will give you the exact menu route. This type of reset only touches the infotainment software and user preference data. It won't clear ECU adaptive memory, won't reset the throttle calibration, and won't affect any mechanical systems. It's the right tool for software bugs and nothing more, but for those specific problems, it's exactly right. Method 5. Fuse Pull Reset. The most targeted method on the list. Instead of resetting everything or even most things, a fuse pull lets you cut power to one specific module and bring it back fresh, while leaving every other system completely untouched. This is particularly useful for a frozen or unresponsive radio or infotainment screen, an ABS warning light that appeared without any actual braking issue, a specific module that started behaving erratically after a voltage event, or any situation where you want to restart one system without disturbing anything else. How to do it? Find your fuse box. Most vehicles have one under the dashboard and another under the hood. The cover of the fuse box typically has a diagram showing which fuse controls which system. If it's not on the cover, it's in the owner's manual. Identify the fuse for the specific module you want to reset. With the ignition off, use a fuse puller, the small plastic tool usually clipped inside the fuse box cover, or needle nose pliers to pull the fuse straight out. Don't pry it at an angle. Let it sit for 10 minutes. Then reseat it firmly. Turn the ignition back on and check whether the affected system has cleared. 2 important rules. Never replace a fuse with one of a different amperage rating. The amperage is printed on the top of the fuse. A higher amperage fuse doesn't protect the circuit. It allows more current than the wiring is designed to handle and can start a fire. And if a fuse blows again immediately after you replace it, there's a real electrical fault downstream that needs diagnosis. Don't keep replacing fuses hoping the problem resolves itself. How to use these in order. Here's the practical sequence when something goes wrong. Start with Method 3, the OBD2 scan, to find out what fault code is stored before you clear anything. Then use Method 1, battery disconnect, or Method 3, scanner clear, to reset it, depending on whether you want a full reset or a targeted one. If the issue is throttle related after any work or battery disconnect, run Method 2 immediately after reconnecting. Reserve Method 4 for infotainment issues only and Method 5 when you want to isolate a single module. None of these require a lift, a special tool, or a shop appointment. They work because modern cars are computers, and computers respond to resets the same way your laptop does when it gets stuck. The difference is knowing which reset fits which problem, and now you do. If this saved you a diagnostic fee or a frustrating afternoon, drop a like, subscribe for more no-nonsense car fixes, and tell me in the comments what problem you're dealing with right now. I read and respond to everyone. See you in the next video.